70 grand a year. You hit that milestone and you're supposed to feel like you've made it, right? But instead, most people making this feel completely broke. They beat themselves up, they download yet another complicated budgeting app, they meticulously cancel a $12 streaming subscription, and then they wonder why absolutely nothing changes. Well, as it turns out, you are not bad with money. You're just living inside a massive math problem that nobody ever bothered to explain to you. It's really not a personal failing. So welcome to This Explainer. Today we're going to draw out that exact math problem piece by piece and show you how to finally break the illusion.
$70,000. Think about it. 20 years ago, this number basically guaranteed comfort. It meant a nice house, a reliable car in the driveway, and a solid annual vacation. Today, it literally means nervously checking your banking app just to see if you can commit to a fancy latte. The number stayed exactly the same, but the reality completely shifted beneath our feet.
Okay, let's dive into this and start with the paycheck itself. You get hired at $70,000, you do the quick mental math, and you think, great, I'm bringing home about $5,800 a month. But that money never actually arrives, does it? First, federal income tax takes a massive bite. Then, Social Security takes its 6.2%. Medicare takes another 1.45%. And then, state tax takes another slice in most places. Oh, and your health insurance premiums, those come right out before you ever even see the money. And finally, there's that 401k contribution you were told you had to make.
Because what actually lands in your checking account is way closer to $4,300 to $4,600 a month. So that $70,000, it was never $70,000. It was actually roughly $53,000. You've been tirelessly budgeting your entire life around a number you never actually had in the first place.
And that brings us to the absolutely vital first step in seeing this structural problem. You have got to stop planning your life around your salary. Seriously, stop it. You need to plan it around your actual deposit because you cannot manage money that the government and your insurance company have already spent for you.
All right, let's move into the 3 middle-class traps. This is what's really eating your take-home pay, and wait until we get to the third one.
Trap number 1 is shelter. Now, the old traditional rule of thumb always said that housing should cost 30% of your income. But let's be real, that rule was written for a world where housing actually costs 30% of your income. Today, across almost all American metros, a basic one-bedroom apartment easily eats up 30 to 45% of a $70,000 earner's actual take-home pay. And buying? Buying is somehow even worse right now because sky-high home prices and mortgage rates have pushed the monthly cost of a medium home way beyond what a medium income can actually support.
Trap number 2 is the car. Look, outside of a handful of major transit-heavy cities, you simply cannot earn money in America without a car. It's not a fun lifestyle choice, it is a rigid job requirement. And the average new car payment has climbed to a staggering $750 a month. Even used cars aren't the escape hatch they used to be, sitting at around $550 on average. When you add in insurance premiums, which have absolutely spiked, plus gas and maintenance, the true cost of just physically getting to work often lands somewhere between $900 and $1,100 a month. That is essentially a mandatory second rent.
Now for trap number 3, the invisible one, debt service. Notice I didn't say the debt itself. I'm talking purely about the interest on the debt. Credit card interest rates in the US right now are averaging above 20%. And this is exactly where the trap violently snaps shut on the middle class.
I really want to slow down here for a second, because this math right here, this is the emotional peak of why people feel so completely hopeless. If you're carrying a $6,000 balance at 22% and you're just making the minimum payment, you are handing the bank roughly $110 every single month, and almost none of it even touches what you actually owe. You could diligently pay that for years and still owe nearly the exact same $6,000.
Think about that $110 a month. That's $1,320 a year. That is a vacation you didn't get to take, that is an emergency fund you couldn't build, and you never even see it leave your life because it doesn't feel like spending. It just looks like you're paying a bill. Rent, your car, and this invisible interest aren't 3 separate expenses anymore. They've merged into one single expense. They are the devastating, singular cost of simply standing still.
Okay, so why does it feel so much worse than the math even suggests? Let's look beyond just the numbers.
Think back to the early 2020s. Prices for groceries, insurance, and utilities skyrocketed almost immediately, right? Now, wages did eventually rise for a lot of people, but it was much later, and it was incredibly uneven. So for several years, millions of people got a raise at work, felt good about it, but still stood in the grocery store aisle and literally watched their buying power shrink. Doing better on paper, but doing worse in the store. That is a very specific kind of madness that just exhausts you.
And this brilliantly illustrates our next psychological hurdle. Your comparison set is completely broken. You see, you aren't comparing yourself to the people in your physical neighborhood anymore. You are comparing yourself to an algorithmically selected highlight reel of the most successful, wealthy, and filtered people on Earth. Your brain is naturally treating that social media feed as your peer group, but it's not. It's a highly curated fiction, and it is explicitly designed to make a perfectly reasonable, normal life feel like a total failure.
I want to be super clear about this. You are not falling behind. You are simply being shown a race that does not exist. The math is already hard enough without you constantly beating yourself up over an impossible illusion. So now that we clearly see the structure, we can finally fight it.
All right, it's time for the counterattack. Here are 4 ways to fight back and dismantle this entire structure. Here's your new arsenal. Step 1, kill the interest. Step 2, attack the big 3. Step 3, take the free money. And Step 4, raise the ceiling. Let's break down exactly how these 4 weapons actually move the needle in real life.
Move 1. You have to kill the interest before you kill the latte. Cutting $50 of fun spending out of your monthly budget saves you exactly $50. Great. But killing a $6,000 credit card balance at 22%, that saves you over $1,300 a year, every single year, forever. It takes the exact same mental effort to prioritize your money, but you get 26 times the return. Attack your highest interest rate first, and don't even think about opening a new card until that one is completely, totally dead.
Move 2. Attack the big 3, not the small 10. Listen, nobody ever budgeted their way out of a $2,000 rent problem by just canceling Netflix. The moves that actually work are the big, uncomfortable ones. Getting a roommate, moving to a cheaper zip code, or committing to a paid-off used car that you drive into the ground for 8 years instead of a shiny, newly financed one you upgrade every 4. Make no mistake, one huge, uncomfortable decision absolutely beats 50 tiny, miserable budget cuts.
Move 3. Take the free money. This number right here, $67,200, is incredibly important because if your employer offers to match your 401k up to 4% and you decide to contribute nothing, you are essentially working for $67,200 while bragging to everyone that you make $70,000. That match is part of your salary. Not taking it isn't being careful with your cash, it is literally declining a raise. Never, ever leave free money on the table.
Move 4. Raise the ceiling. Don't just lower the floor. When it comes to your money, defense means lowering the floor by cutting your costs. But there is a hard, concrete floor to how little you can spend just to survive. Offense, on the other hand, means raising the ceiling by earning more, and there is absolutely no limit there. Past a certain point, clipping coupons and agonizing over every penny becomes a full-time job with terrible pay. The absolute highest return move for most people earning 70 grand isn't building another giant spreadsheet, it's playing offense. Go get a new skill, earn a certification, negotiate hard at work, or build a second income stream. Defense keeps you alive. Offense is what gets you out.
So, let's put the whole game right here on the board. You do not have a $70,000 salary. You have a $53,000 reality. 3 massive traps are constantly trying to eat it: your shelter, your car, and the invisible interest. But you have 4 undeniable weapons to fight back. Kill the interest, attack the big 3, take the free money, and raise your ceiling. Guys, that is the entire game. And I want you to remember this with complete conviction. You are not broke because you are lazy. You are broke because you have been fighting a $12 subscription while a 22% interest rate quietly ate your future. You've just been fighting a structural problem with the wrong tools. But now you can see it. So go out there and take your future back. I'll leave you with this provocative question to chew on. What specific skill will you learn this year to raise your ceiling? Because earning more really is your ultimate way out of this trap. If this explainer finally made the math make sense for you, make sure you stick around and subscribe, because in our next explainer, I'm going to break down the side hustles that actually pay real money in the modern economy. And I'll show you exactly why 3 of the most popular ones out there right now are a complete and utter waste of your time. Start thinking about your offense, and I will see you next time.